Welcome to Laughing Lama in the Library. I'm Dr. Leah Leach, and from time to time I'm going to drop some seeds of wisdom that bloomed for me in hopes that they will bloom for you as well. I'm not a real Lama, animal, or Buddhist venerable, but I'm working on becoming one either in this lifetime or the next. The animal or the Buddhist venerable. I think either would be quite nice. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I cultivate the intention for any wisdom or joy to arise from this musing to be a benefit of all beings. Brought to you by Gal's Guide. Today's seed is a quote by Thich Nhat Han. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. So here's how this seed bloomed for me. Pain is something we are all going to experience many times in our lives. Pain is momentary. Pain is change. And pain is an attention seeker for a good reason. A teacher once said to me, pain is the indication that something's not quite right and needs an investigation. That teacher was Lapon Charlotte Rotterdam. When we turn away from pain, block pain, or try to soothe it away with vices, we cause more suffering in our lives. Suffering is our reaction to pain. It takes many forms. Inward forms can be shame spirals and self-loathing. Outward forms can be anger and violence. Blocking forms can be ignoring it or stuffing it down with food, alcohol, and drugs. One way to look at the pain is that we're not actively dealing with it. To think of that pain wrapped in the center of a yarn ball. Take your pain and then wrapping a yarn strand of, I don't have time for this right now. Then another yarn strand of, why did they do this to me? Then another yarn strand of, maybe wine will help. Over time, you get this big ball of yarn with different threads of suffering. And who knows how many have been tangling themselves together. Suffering is a great twisted yarn ball that is trying to soften our pain. But really, it's just making a much bigger mess to deal with. So what is a way out of this? Instead, if we turn toward the pain and look at it with compassion, we lessen our suffering. If before we wrap it up, we recognize, oh, this is pain. And to quote probably one of the most life-scarring movies ever made, E.T., the Extraterrestrial, I will explain some other time, take a look at your pain as it happens and say, ouch. Acknowledge that the pain hurts. And you'll also acknowledge that this too shall pass. Turn towards the pain and see what it's there to teach you. What is the reason this hurt you? Is it something your body or mind is trying to tell you? Is it a trigger for another hurt that maybe you haven't dealt with? Is there something that you can do about the pain right then and there? If it isn't something you can do about it, acknowledge that you see the pain and feel the pain. You value it bringing it to your attention, and then rest. It is what it is. It will pass. Or it'll tell you what you can do about it when it's ready. You just have to be willing to listen and not silence it with the strands of yarn. So how did this seed of wisdom bring me happiness? Well, it's weird to say that thoughts on pain bring me happiness, but in reality, it's one of the many things we all have in common. Pain is something we all experience. In the Buddhist practice I'm learning about, pain is connected to the ground of being. It's a metaphorical soil that we are all connected to, that we all walk on, and that we all rest on. The pain of childbirth brings new life into this world. Pain in the loss of a loved one brings us closer together to celebrate the time we do have with each other. Pain is something we'll experience before we die. Pain is something that brings us together in our shared ground of being. Suffering tries to bind us up and keep us from connecting. So I want to have a book or a movie or a song that this kind of seed brings up in me to share it on kind of another level. And when I think about this pain, I think about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and I think about what Yoda said. Pain, suffering, death, I feel. Something terrible has happened. Young Skywalker is in pain. Terrible pain. So now I want to give you some context of how this seed came into my life. In other words, how this seed was planted. So this seed was in a Lama Live session spoken by Lapon Charlotte Rotterdam on May 22nd. It was a Lama Live is a weekly live stream from the Tara Mandala Center. There's a Facebook page and a YouTube channel, and I'll put that in the show notes. Lapon Charlotte Rotterdam was answering the question, how can we use suffering to improve our spiritual path? Now, the roots of this seed is the quote by Thich Nhat Han. Thich Nhat Han was a Vietnamese Zen master, leader, author, poet, teacher, peace activist, and founder of the Plum Village tradition. This quote may not be originated by Thich Nhat Han, as the words have a long history in Buddhism. However, it was attributed to him at this event. I hope this brings you peace today. I hope this brings you a seed of wisdom that blooms in happiness for you. Thank you.